Webb, is that not the greatest intro in radio ever?
I dig it. I think I wish I had something that was and I use this word. It has a negative connotation, but that may even be a bad word to use. But it's just so flamboyant and like it reminds me of like 80s hair bands. Like
that's the whole thing. All the way, dude.
I see zebra pants and boots, and I see David Lee Roth doing the split.
Zebra striped spandex from Frederick of Hollywood.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice hot pink shirt, long teased out hair, just gaudy and loud and exotic.
And Brian Gray breaks into Panama, the drum solo.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's also welcome to the program with another pretty decent intro song.
Kyle May.
I don't even think I deserve the theme song this week. I think I should have been punished for that one.
Well, Kyle May, guess what? You're still a race car driver. You're still a race car driver. Now.
That's all right, Kyle. All of us have bad days every now and again.
Let's start. Okay, let's start the show with. We'll go with Gray first, since Gray's the elder statesman of the two drivers here on the show. Gray, what was your weekend like, driving wise there?
Dude, we had a pretty good weekend. We went out to Moeller on Friday, ran second in the heat race, so that put me on the second row of the feature. And about 2 laps into that race, I just knew that we had something. And then all of a sudden something happened to the car. Haven't figured it out yet. I think it's the carburetor, but when I got back in, the distributor was loose, and it was just popping and cracking. Only made about 4 laps in the heat, but I promise you, when we go back next week, that's not going to be a problem. We are going to give them hell. That car was awesome.
All right, and before we get to Kyle May, I do want to address some things here. And, of course, now, Brian, we've known each other now for several months. We got to hang out in Indy. I think we got a pretty good understanding for each other and know what each of us are trying to accomplish. And part of what you do, and no bones about it, part of what you do is you start shitstorms on 4M. That's what you do, right?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that's part of my job description, but it does give us something to talk about every week.
Well, listen. Well, okay, and I usually don't really I read 4M. I'm not gonna lie to you. I read 4M. I don't really say much on 4M. I leave all the shit storming to other people, which is it's good. It's good read most time. It's great comedy most time. You can get some actual real news from 4M, but not too many times. But you can get.
Totally agree. It's good comedy.
It's good comedy.
Some people take things way too seriously.
Yeah. Everybody's a Walter Cronkite when they got a keyboard in front of them. Anyway, I just want to address one thing. I asked Brian Gray to be on this program for one reason and one reason only. He's not afraid to voice his opinion. Brian Gray he does drive, he does participate in the sport. Whether he does it at a high level or a low level or at a middle level, makes no difference to me. What I need Brian Gray to do is come on the show and have an opinion. Anybody out there who thinks they know why Brian Gray's on the show or wants to have an opinion on why Brian Gray's on the show, you can reach me at inthedirtradio@gmail.com, and I'll set you straight. If you think Kyle May's on here for any other reason, or excuse me, not Kyle May, Brian Gray. See, y'all rhyme and get me all confused.
Yeah,
but Brian Gray does a good job here on this show, and he does it for nothing. I pay for the show myself, and Brian Gray comes on and spends his money even for nothing. So anybody out there who's got a problem with Brian Gray being on the show, you can like I said, you can reach me at inthedirtradio@gmail.com. I'll tell you why he's on the show. Don't speculate. Don't talk out your bunghole on 4M. What you think you know. KCW, I don't know who KCW is, but you're welcome to email me. We'll swap phone numbers. We'll have an Obama beer session somewhere. But don't speculate. Don't go on there and act like you know something when you don't. So, Brian Gray, I fully endorse you being on my program. I love that you're on here. And
I love being on here, Webb. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on here. We get on here because it's fun and
well, it's for the sport.
Yeah, it's fun.
So anyway, I don't usually raise hell. I usually don't get in that kind of garbage. But Gray, just keep being Brian Gray. That's all you got to do.
I'm just presenting the facts, Webb. That's it. And people can't handle the truth.
I don't even know what that thread was about. It was something about Florence and something about a driver not going or not coming. But everybody in this business, whether you're a fan, whether you're a driver, whether you're a crew chief, whether you're a guy that sells tires, has stood at the mountaintop and screamed at the top of their lungs, "I'll never come back to this racetrack. Oh, so help me, Muhammad or God or whoever." They say that, and what do? They bebop right back through them gates, and they go buy that ticket, and they buy them race parts, or they buy them tires, but everybody in this sport has proclaimed they'll never do something ever again, and they're right back there doing it. That's just the way it is.
Because they love to do it,
they love to do it, and if you don't have passion, see, that's where people get confused. Passion for something is you get so mad at it that you hate it. And in passion, you're so much infatuated and in love with it at the same time. But that's what our sport is great. It's pure passion, whether it's on the hatred side or the love side or this. It's unadulterated passion for our sport. So, bitch session is done. Moving over to Kyle May. Kyle May, I have to be honest with you. I woke up Saturday morning, and the first thing I did was go to Facebook because I wanted to see how my boy Kyle May, one of my best buds in racing, how he did, and what did your status read?
Well, Friday night, I believe I won the heat race.
And from all accounts, I was unable to attend Friday night, but from all accounts, you were checking out like it was 11 o'clock on a Sunday at a hotel.
Right. Yeah, we were. We might not have been the fastest one there, but we were good. I mean, we were on top of things by far. I mean, that's the best. We were. I wouldn't have changed anything about it. Not Friday night, I wouldn't have.
So 45 crate cars. Where were you at in the pecking order after qualifying?
After qualifying, well, they done it in groups, so I'm not 100% positive. But technically, I was sixth, I guess you'd say.
All right. So you guys pretty proud of yourself Friday evening. Saturday, looking for much the same. Now, I'm going to give my account real quick. So I'm up there. This is everybody listening at home. This is Green Valley Speedway Crate Nationals. I'm so excited for my boy Kyle May. Starting second row. I'm like, yeah, here it comes. We're going to do this. And green flag drops. The cars come out of 4. Now you can say, Kyle, what happened?
I don't know if we're having a little bit of just kind of small fuel issues or that kind of thing, but nothing even remotely like it happened Friday night. But I mean, I kept it cleared out like pretty much until time to start, and then hit the gas pedal, and it just kind of burped, and we were 3 wide before I knew what happened. I was in the middle, and I was going backwards, not forwards. Don't mistake me there. I was
going to correct
backwards.
I'm going to correct you. You were more. It was like 7 wide because they were all going around you. I'm not trying to punk you.
Yeah, it just it got hectic there for a second, and then we got to go into turn 1, and I was like, I got to let these guys go. I can't be pinched in the middle of them, and I know they're fixing to get wild. And so, it just kind of as the race went on, we made some tire choices, and we were really banking on the racetrack to be a little bit different as the race went on, and it didn't go in our favor at all. I mean, we just the car, usually in that car, it just gets better as I go, and we just stayed about the same the whole race. And I tried about 17 different lines on the racetrack. I know that's probably not possible, you would say, but I tried it. I tried everything I could do, and it just, we still finished ahead of some good cars, but we just didn't have the finish we'd looked for.
That's right. Well,
I mean, it's just one of them things that, I tried everything. I tried the bottom. I scraped the wall around the racetrack. It was just one of them things. But it's Monday, so,
Well, you guys made a good show, and the 56 crate car was on rail Friday, Saturday. That's part of the racing, man. It just happens.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin Kovac was scheduled to call in here, be our first guest, but he wasn't. So here's what we were going to talk about with Mr. Kevin Kovac, who's the World Outlaws PR guy. Yours truly, Webb Diller, was got to vote preseason on what I make my preseason predictions for the World of Outlaws, and I sucked so bad. First of all, my rookie of the year, Mike Marlar, is who I picked. He's not even eligible, evidently.
Mike
they
Marlar's
voted
not eligible for rookie of the year in the World of Outlaws.
No, I talked to Rick Eschman over the weekend at Green Valley Speedway, and I was telling him this is what we were going to talk about, how I sucked with my predictions. And he said, yeah, Mylar's not even eligible because he's won 2 20-some-thousand win races in Mississippi, so it technically takes him out of being a technical rookie, and it's voted on by a board of drivers. But let me give you my top 5. I picked McCready to win it, Richard second, Shane Clanton to finish third, Rick Eckert to finish fourth, and Lanigan to finish fifth. Now, I'm not too bad with the names, just where they fall in place is the problem. The current point standings, after 7 events, it looks like, the Club 29, Dare Lanigan, I guess is how you say it, he's leading. Leading. Josh Richards is second. I got that one so far. Eckert's up there in third. He's in my top 5. Clanton's in my top 5. But Tim McCready's way down. He's tied for 6th with 3 other guys. But, of course, this is a tough thing to predict anyway. Was I that bad off, Kyle?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, 6. If 6 is the furthest away that the top 5 you picked, then no. I mean, obviously the names are swapped around, but at least they're top 5.
Yeah, at least I got that. Now here's my surprise.
6, you know.
Yeah, the surprise driver of the year I picked Vic Coffey, because Vic Coffey's still looking for his first win, or I think his first win on the series, if I'm not mistaken. But so I said he's not going to win just one; he'll win 2 this year.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think he will. I mean,
he could.
He's there. You know what I mean? He's there, and he's just, you know, he's got as good a shot as anybody does, I think.
Yeah. Then there's 3 races that they told us to choose from, which was the Winter Freeze, the Firecracker 100, and the USA Nationals. Now, so I totally blew the Winter Freeze. Tim McCready didn't win it. So that one's a red line. It's like picking your teams for the basketball tournament. Now, the Firecracker 100, I picked Clanton to win. They ever get that Capital race car going, he had some problems over the weekend, what I heard. And then the USA Nationals, I chose Mr. Smooth, Billy Moyer, to win that. That's probably a good pick right there. That's probably his wheelhouse.
But here's one that Kyle can probably follow. You know, Shane Clanton's a pretty awesome guy behind the wheels. I think everybody can agree with that. But you know, he gets in this other car, and I'm not saying anything bad about it, but that does just go to show, you know, depending on what manufacturer you choose to drive, it makes a huge difference in the way some of the outcome comes. You know, the outcome of some of the shows. Yeah,
I don't know if Clanton's situation. I think it almost kind of mirrors Earl Pearson Jr.'s situation. I think both of them have a lot of input into the respective, you know, the Longhorn and then the Clanton, you know, and the Capital.
The thing about it though is it the car, or is it having, you know? I think it just makes that big of a difference who you've got spinning the wrenches on the car, and if you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing in that aspect, or is great because the competition is so high now, you just have to have a lot of people doing R&D.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's take a quick break. Coming up on a 1/4 the hour, and I believe Dustin Linville is going to be our first guest. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah,
all right.
He's supposed to be coming in here about right now.
About right now. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the End of the Dirt.
All right.
Welcome back into the In the Dirt here. Our first guest, Mr. Kevin Kovac, evidently was busy this evening, didn't get a chance to call in. I'd like to welcome Mr. Dustin Linville to the program. Dustin, you with us?
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. Just out back getting ready to eat me a bite here. Come down from the shop working on a race car a little bit.
Now, you guys are out of Bryanttsville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And where do y'all race at? So the guys down here in Alabama and Georgia listening, tell us a little bit about where you race at and how long you've been racing and what you guys race.
Our home track's over here in Junction City, Kentucky, over at Ponderosa. We race over there quite a bit. That's about 20 minutes away. It's they actually got a pretty good sized race over there this weekend. We're gonna go over here too, but they're about a lot of tracks around here is shutting down, and it's just tougher it's getting tough for everybody to race anymore. But we go to Ponderosa a lot and Florence, and I actually went to Willard up in Grayson, Kentucky this weekend, won in a late model and a modified. So that's a pretty good deal.
Now, how long you guys been racing late models? Have you always raced the late models? Have you come from a different form of racing, go-karts, or what's your history?
Well, whenever I actually started going in '98 when my dad raced bombers over here at Richmond, and I just helped him out, as much as I could. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and then I got a go-kart, and he got me a go-kart there in about 2000, and I raced go-karts all the way up till I was about 12 or 13, and he was still racing the bombers and got into modifieds and late models. We'd race go-karts on Friday nights and go racing with him Saturday night. And, then whenever I got up into the modified class, I was 13, got into modified, and me and him tried to race a little bit, and we got about halfway through the year there, and he said he figured he better get out of it because I was starting to beat him. So now it's just me racing now, and I raced modifieds, I guess, till I was about 16. And won quite a few races in that, and then got a pretty good sponsor there, and he bought me a late model. And actually, first year I raced late model, we won track championship over at Ponderosa. So that was a good deal, and then just been racing late model ever since then, and hope to continue as long as the money allows.
Yeah. Now you guys probably know David Webb and his killer chassis pretty well, don't you?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, he actually lives about 5 minutes from me. But they're pretty good people up there, and And
that's does Tim Logan and them guys come down from over in Ashland?
Well, I see Tim about the only times I see Tim and them racing around is whenever we go to Florence or something. He'll have Francis a car or something like that. Which Florence, that's like you go up there and there ain't no slackers up there, so that's usually where you see the big guys at. But they don't come down to Ponderosa or nothing like that. That's just kind of a local track there that we go to a lot. But we don't race around him very much.
Now, coming from the what did you actually get to take from the open wheel part of your career into the late model? I mean, is there anything that's similar?
Well, ain't a whole lot similar actually. It's just a big difference in the speed and the size of the tires and the motors. And I'll tell you the truth, actually, everybody always talks about how hard a modified was to drive, and I was like, well, ain't no way. I mean, it ain't too bad. And then I got in the late model, and I actually seen that the late model was really nowhere near as hard to drive as a modified. And then, crawling right into a modified this week, and I actually spun out in qualifying and in the heat race. So it's a big difference in the steering, and they're quite a bit slower than the late models. But it's a big change whenever you get out of one and right into the other and have to hammer down. You don't get you got to adjust it really quick.
It's a very different experience going from the modified to the late model. Everything seems a little better because the brakes actually work and the tires feel like they grip. And after you've driven the late model for a little while and you try to go back to the modified, it kind of messes with you some.
Yeah, definitely. The rack and pinions, on the late models, they help those cars steer so much better, and just like you said, the brakes and stuff. I mean, you can really tell, that a modified is just, it's kind of a stock car, and it's a lot heavier, and it's really hard to steer. Late models is just, it's a real deal. Everything's high dollar, and you get really high speeds, and everything costs us a lot more, definitely, in late model.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'd say comparative, it's probably getting close, because the main reason why I got out of a modified was because of the cost. I said, if I'm going to spend this money on a modified, I'm going to drive a late model.
Yeah, it is true nowadays. It is. There's a lot of guys that you see more and more every day. The big rigs pulling in, and they'll roll out a modified, and you got your hands full. You take an old car, for a race car driver, and get it run against high dollar equipment, and but yeah, it's definitely getting. Ain't really racing ain't cheap, no division nowadays,
Yeah. Yep, that's it. And Dustin, just so that you know, last week we had a show, and we have a show every Monday, and we asked the fans. We said, if there's any drivers that you want to hear from, we just put the question out there, right, Webb?
Yep, just put the question out.
And I got my message box filled full of people requesting that we have Dustin Linville on the show. I mean, how does that make you feel, knowing that there's that many people that are out there watching you every week and supporting you in that way?
Oh, man, that's awesome. I'll tell you the truth. I enjoy being up in the stands with all the fans just as much as I do out there on the track, It's I've been in that place, in the stands before watching, my favorite driver, when I was little, and I know fans is what keeps it going, Now
do you guys sell a T-shirt with the Linville Racing on it?
Yeah, actually, I talked to the T-shirt guy today, or the guy that that's drawing them up. My father-in-law at Graphic Impressions, he actually does all their T-shirts and stuff, and they're supposed to. The guy that's drawing them up there, he called me today and asked me what all I wanted on it, and I said, heck, man, just whatever you want on it. But they're going to have some shirts. I think this weekend or next weekend. So hopefully we sell quite a few of those.
And you mentioned your sponsor. So are you driving? You're driving for somebody right now?
Well, my late model, I drive for my dad.
Okay.
We got a late model here at the house, but I actually drive a modified for a guy named Danny McGowan out of Huntington, West Virginia. So we've been traveling up there, a lot. Last year we drove up to like southern Ohio and Portsmouth and Brush Creek, and just to race with them guys. And there'll be a lot of that this year too, just to hang out with them guys and drive their modified and have a little bit of fun,
So you're going to come up to Moeller's this Friday for that $5,000 to win?
I don't know. I didn't even know nothing about that. I had to. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know. It's this weekend they got 1,500 over here at Junction, over here at Ponderosa, and then the next night they'll have a 2,500, and it's just so close. I don't know what the plan is right now. Actually, just have to see how the weather goes. I guess just. Whichever way it ain't raining, that's where we'll head to.
Well, before we let you get off here, I know you said you're fixing to eat supper, so go ahead and thank some of your, of course, your car owners and stuff, and some of your sponsors.
Yeah, I'd like to just, thank all my guys that works on the cars. My dad and Billy. He helps out. He's our T-shirt guy and all that stuff, but he still helps out a lot. And Les and Kagan and my Uncle Todd, my wife, Shay, she does a lot through the week, and, she keeps me straight. But, all my sponsors, Graphic Impressions, Mike Bullock Race Engines, Paul Benton Auto Body, Linville's Finished Carpentry. I know there's a bunch of them. I just want to thank everybody, anybody out there listening that's helping me out, and especially the fans, I got to thank them because they're the only reason, racing's still going today.
That's right. Well, we appreciate you coming on with us, Dustin, and we'll keep tabs on you, and maybe we'll get you all back on here when you guys park it in Victory Lane. Talk about that one day.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Not a problem, Mr. Dustin Linville. Welcome back in, race fans. Kyle May, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, we're going to bring in our next guest, a young driver out of Fayetteville, Georgia. driver of a number 18 Rocket out of Fayetteville, Georgia, Mr. Matt Dooley. You with us?
Yes, sir. I'm with y'all. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Not a problem, brother. Not a problem. Matt, also on the phone with, on with us is Brian Gray up out of Cincinnati, and also, Kyle May.
How's it going, Matt?
Yes, sir. I know, Kyle. How's it going, man?
How's it going?
It's going pretty good here. We just about to unload the race car, about to wash it.
Well, Matt, when I first met you about a year and a half ago, I guess, or so, you guys were driving a crate car and I think flirting with super late models. Have you guys made the jump?
No, sir, we haven't made the jump yet. We've actually made the jump into a steelhead late model, which is the 362 cubic inch max deal, and we're planning on trying to make that jump here soon to super, but we just haven't found the funding yet. But we're working on that.
Now you're a young guy like Kyle is. Where did you guys start racing at? And tell us some of the things you've done with racing since you started.
Well, I'm 15 years old, and we started racing in 2005 when I was about 8 or 9. We started racing a little asphalt car and called a Bandolera. We raced that for a little bit, and we made a switch to dirt, racing a half-scale big block modified, and called it a slingshot. We raced it for about 2 years, and then, about 2008, we made the switch into a crate late model and started racing it in 2009, and we've been racing crate for about 2.5 to 3 years now. We just made the jump to limited or steelhead late model here about middle of last year.
No, and we talked earlier offline, and we were talking about your sponsors and whatnot. And one of your sponsors that caught my eye, and I kind of knew this already. I already knew it. It wasn't a surprise when I read it. But tell us how Clint Smith is involved in your program.
Yes, sir. Clint Smith over there. Everybody at Clint Smith Racing, he's been a huge help to me and my whole racing program. We actually live within 10 minutes of each other, and when I get off of school every day, I'll go over there, and he gives me the opportunity to hang out and help out and work, and he'll put me to work every day and just mentor me along and just teach me stuff, man. It's been a huge help.
Yeah,
and Brad Baum, his crew chief over there, they've been a huge help to me.
Yeah, I know old Brad. Brad's supposed to come on the show here with us eventually. Now, when you're over there at the Clint Smith shop, is there any Reese influence with the Brian Reese affiliation to the Clint Smith program? Yes, so there's still a little bit of influence. He lives actually right down the road in Sharpsburg, and he eats lunch with us. He eats lunch with us every day, and we're really close to him. Clint and Brian are up and down the road together. That's right. That's right. So you guys were running some of the Neesmith stuff last year. That's what we met down at Pent Raceway.
Yes, sir. We saw you down there.
So tell us a little bit about what's gone on the last couple of years in the crates and some of the wins you've had. I know you had a win. I think it's New Sonoma Speedway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We had some pretty good success in crate. I want to say we won 4 features last year in crate. We won 2 at Dixie and 2 at Sonoma, and we ran some of that Neesmith deal and had some pretty good success in it. And we didn't have the finishing result that we were capable of, but we ran some of that deal and enjoyed it, and figured it was about time, to make the switch. And Clint's been talking and trying to get me to move up the ranks, and see how that goes. But yeah, we had pretty good success in crate.
With being as young as you are, 15-year-old, have you had a chance maybe to run into somebody like Tyler Reddick and kind of just bounce, talk to him about being young and racing too? I mean, is there other guys out there who race at high level like you do, the same age, other than Tyler?
Yes, so there's some guys that are my age. I'm pretty much on a weekly basis. I'm probably about the youngest guy normally, but we talked to Tyler before whenever we were racing up there, like when they come to Dixie and Rome for that Lucas deal. we'll always see him. He's a good guy, and sometimes bounce a little information off each other. But it's great having other people, young in the sport racing and involved in it.
Now I know you're a race car driver, so you don't have to answer this honestly if you don't want to. But yes. being just 15 years old, have you ever come up on anybody on the racetrack, like to get next to him, or has anybody come up next to you on a racetrack and you thought, oh no, look who's next to me?
Sometimes honestly, yeah, there's sometimes there's always a little bit of intimidation. Somebody maybe you don't know racing on the racetrack, or somebody that you've heard of, like a big name driver. Like we raced over there at Green Valley this weekend for that 10,000 to win race, and we started at 6 on the grid there, and I'm just looking at the guys beside me, like there's some great drivers like Tim Boucher and Little Dill Armstead, Gar Dixon, just a lot of guys that I'm not used to racing against every week. And, but it's a little bit of intimidation. But, once you get on the racetrack, you're all at an equal playing field, so.
That's right. Yeah, it don't matter what the age is.
That's right.
Kyle May, does anybody intimidate you on the racetrack?
Does anybody intimidate me?
Yeah, maybe like a 97 car.
Yeah, it gives me that look. I just get creeped out. Go into panic mode.
Oh. Well, all right. Before we let you go, Matt, first of all, I want to thank you for participating on our program. You're a good driver and really like you.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. No problem. I appreciate you letting me come home.
No problem. So I tried to find you. I seen you at the racetrack. I know we were supposed to try to hook up and talk for a second, and all I saw was like feet and dust. You would just come by me, wide open. Hunter, what were you doing?
I was making a last-minute tire decision there. We were bouncing. Me and Little Joe Armstead were bouncing information off each other all day long, and we just couldn't figure out. Well, I couldn't figure out what kind of tires I wanted to be on, and man, it was probably 6:30, 7 o'clock right before we were about to go in hot lap. And I went up there and looked at the racetrack, and I said, oh, boy, I need something softer here, And I ran down there to Allen at American and grabbed me a tire real quick and got on down there, tried to cut it up before the feature.
Well, you certainly didn't hear me say, Matt, hey, buddy, Matt.
I didn't see you at all. I saw Kyle's car, and I was on a mission.
Well, all right. But before we let you go, just thank some of your sponsors, and then tell us where some of the fans can catch you at next.
All right. Well, first of all, man, I'd like to thank all the fans that come to the racetrack every week, and I'd also like to thank our family-owned business, Scott's Auto Machine in Fayetteville, Georgia. My dad builds racing engines for a living, and I also like to thank all the guys there, and I also like to thank Zaxby's Restaurant Corporation. They've been a huge help this year, and Ronnie Dobbins with RC Enterprises and SAE Parts. He's helped me out a lot. And I also like to thank, there's so many people who help us out. Like my uncle there helps me out a lot, and let's see, man, Shorty's Shock Service, he helps me out. Bell Racing Helmets, Rocket Chassis, just a lot of people like that. And Clint Smith, man, I can't forget them. Clint Smith Racing, Brad. They've been a huge help. And you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Matt_Dooley18. And you can also like me on Facebook at Matt Dooley Racing, or you can send me a friend request at Matt Dooley.
You know what, Matt? You're the very first person to give their Twitter account out on In the Dirt.
I'm new to Twitter, man. It's a great way to keep up with the guys in the racing world.
That's right. In the Dirt's got a Twitter, and I don't think I've even gave it out. I'm a Facebook guy.
Well, you need to promote that Twitter account with.
I need the Twitter. You're right. Well, I appreciate.
Me and Clint were talking about the other day. That Twitter's where it's at.
Yeah, the Twitter. I know Brian Gray and the guys up at DRC. They Twitter. They tweet a lot. Kyle May, you don't tweet at all, do you?
I think I followed Dirt Racing last week.
Say that again.
I think I followed Dirt Racing.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I was just saying I don't even know how to tweet. I don't even know. I haven't even got on Twitter yet, so I'm going to have to get on that.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to let you get out of here, Mr. Dooley. Next time you guys park it in Victory Lane, give me a call. We'll talk about it here on the show.
All right, man. Hey, thanks, guys.
Not a problem. All right, that's Matt Dooley. When we come back, we're going to have Brandon Thurbly out of Traverse City, Michigan, when we come back on In the Dirt. Man, I love that little intro right there.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Who is that again? Is that something we can talk about out loud?
Yeah, it's a little bit of my boys from Alter Bridge.
Yeah, I like that intro right there.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're waiting on Mr. Brandon Thurbly to call us from Michigan, and we have a caller, and it says here on my board his name is Rufus Thomas. So your guess is as good as mine on this one, listeners. Mr. Rufus?
Yeah, they be Rufus Thomas. Yeah, I just call in. I like racing and NASCAR and everything, and I just want to know: is it just a white man sport?
No. There's Wendell Scott used to race.
Yeah,
NASCAR.
but that been 40 years ago.
No,
but I watch NASCAR and I go sometimes. I take my family out to the local track here, and I feel like a stepchild. Everybody looking at me, and there ain't no other African American in the stands. There ain't nothing.
Well,
I don't see no race car drive. It look like the National Hockey League. It's all white.
Well, Mr. Thomas, I would say that in this day and age that all kinds of people are welcome at the racetracks. The only color that matters in racing right now is green, and there's not enough money. That's the only color that should matter. Ronnie Johnson.
Yeah, but these. I ain't talking about no drivers and green. They're green flag and there's green money, but there ain't no fans. I don't see no fans out there. I go out to the tracks here in the greater Cincinnati area, and I don't see no black people other than me.
Well, what I would challenge a car owner out there to maybe put together a bomber car and find a young man, whether he live in the inner city or the suburbs of Cincinnati, and do a gong show like Jack Roush does for the NASCAR. He does a gong show.
Maybe you could talk to Jack Roush and get him to do something for me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So your concern this evening was the lack of diversity that's in.
Yeah, I just go there and I feel like a stepchild. I go in there and I go up to get a hamburger or some chicken wings at the concession stand, and the people behind there look at me like I'm crazy.
Well, I think by just being involved, I applaud you for just being involved. It's got to be somewhat uncomfortable, I would have guessed, but
I don't feel bad going out there to these racetracks, but there ain't nobody else. That's what I'm trying to say. There just ain't nobody else, and I really like it.
Yeah, well,
I really like it when I go out there to
your neighbors, buddies, your family members, bring them out.
I do.
Then you
I do.
Well, I promise you, there's not a promoter out there right now that if you brought 50 of your closest friends and family, that would turn you guys down at the ticket gate.
I don't think they would neither with the prices they charge.
Well, that is
prices. They're a little bit through the roof. You think?
They are.
Yeah, and some of them tracks think their food must come from the high class restaurants. You must think you're eating at the Waldorf Astoria. They want $4 for a damn cheeseburger.
Hey, listen, go to East Bay. Go to East Bay. That is the
where that at? That's
down in Gibsonton, Tampa area. They got a high priced menu there too, and I don't know if it's the Waldorf. So what got you involved in racing?
I always liked it. I like things that go fast, but they. I guess it comes from running track and playing football. Anything that's fast moving, I liked. I liked hockey, but I don't see no black people in it.
I can't remember the gentleman's name, but there was a black gentleman that played in the. I think he still plays right now.
In hockey?
In hockey, believe it or not.
You must be thinking about that commercial, Bo Nose.
Bo
He
Nose.
tried to play hockey and got hurt.
that might be the case.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Rufus, how did you stumble across our program? Is my question.
Well, I watch this stuff. I watch any kind of racing, like I told you. I watch this guy, and he's great at what he do. He does his DRC videos.
Oh yeah, Mr. Jody.
Yeah, and I watch that on my computers. And he mentioned your racing program.
Well, I'm gonna play something for you, Rufus. We made this especially for Jody Shannon.
Okay. That's him, yeah, Shannon.
And now, deep from within the DRC bunker in southern Ohio, it's Jody Shannon.
Dude, that's like the funk nasty.
Do what? Well, all right, Mr. Rufus.
That's like the funk nasty. That's like porno music.
We're gonna invite you back anytime, Rufus. You just keep going to the racetrack.
All right. Well, I like I said, Jody Shannon. He a good man. Now he do talk to me at the racetrack.
So what track do you like to go to the most, Rufus?
I like Florence and I like Smoller. It's close.
Ah, so you're a Cincinnati native.
Yeah, I greater Cincinnati area. Yeah, I goes up to Eldora, and like I said, there ain't nobody. I go to these different tracks, and I'm the only black person there with me and my family. I guarantee you that.
All right. Well, we have to move on to our next guest. That was on the verge of going. It could have went either way. That conversation.
You could. That dude was interesting.
Yeah, he was all right. But we have Mr. Brandon Thurbly on telephone right now. Brandon, how are you tonight?
Pretty good, my man.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Did you hear Mr. Thomas on the line?
Brandon, did you hear our last caller on the line?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I caught the tail end of that.
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
Well, this is not. I don't care for this to be the battleground for diversity. That's fine. That's great, wonderful. But that was just. I was so glad it didn't go. It didn't go where
it went well. I could tell you were a little tense. You thought at any moment this is going to go bad. I know it is.
I had my finger on the X. I was ready just to dump him. But that was interesting. I bet he was impressed when I said Wendell Scott. If he's been racing that long. But anyway, so here we are. We're going to talk to the pilot of the number M14, Masterbuilt chassis, Thirlby Automotive, Homestead Motorsports. Late model. Brandon, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good.
You guys raced this weekend. Told me we asked you to be on the show last week. Some point you said you guys were heading. Tell us about your weekend.
Oh, we went down to Attica Raceway Park and ran a couple nights. Start off the season. Ran pretty decent in the heat race. Just made a couple bad moves on the chassis for the feature. And I don't know. It didn't turn out too hot, but we can definitely scratch that off the to-do list now. Yeah,
well, you got something in common with Brian Gray and Kyle May, both my co-hosts. They had similar, almost the same story over the weekend. Now, you and I talked briefly. You guys had been doing a pretty good amount of traveling. You guys had participated in the Hell Tour. You guys were getting away from Traverse City there. Am I saying Traverse City right?
Traverse City. Yep. Cool.
Traverse City. Okay.
Yep.
But you guys now, of course, it's not coincidence, I guess. DOD, Dirt on Dirt, did an interview with you guys not too long ago. But you guys are slowing down and going to be racing more of a local schedule. Elaborate on what your season is going to hold.
Oh, we've got the Michigan Dirt Cup that just started last season with the modifieds, and now this year they've picked up the late models. And I don't know, that's basically the main goal is to do that and do real well, and also go for the national points as far as UMP, and also try to win the Michigan State points as well.
So what's just is it? I know it's some private issues has been part of the reason, but is the diesel Has that hurt you guys any? I mean, because the car counts ain't been real high at some of the bigger shows that I've even been to, covering for Dirt on Dirt. I just wonder if it's maybe the diesel.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, diesel being over $4 a gallon, you got a truck that gets about 7 miles to the gallon, doesn't really help things. And, you know, just this last season, I lost besides my father, my two biggest sponsors, just one because of corporate downsizing, and the other one, they decided to go other ways as far as marketing their products and kind of drop the racing gig. So, I mean, between the sponsor deal, diesel, and, I mean, just not real good right now.
Yeah. So you're going to do some of the Hell Tour or just a little bit of the Hell Tour? I mean, a couple races?
Yeah, just a few races. We're going to pick and choose. I mean, we're definitely going to be at I-96, probably Fairbury, Kankakee, a couple other ones.
And now we talked early offline, and you told me a pretty good story about. Tell me about going to a racetrack, finishing. Well, anyway, you raced 2 nights. There are 2 racetracks in one night. Tell me that story.
Yeah, we went down to Muskegon, Michigan at Thunderbird Raceway. Started in the back, worked our way up to 4th. It was a topless show, actually, and we heard that a track I-96 was on a rain delay, so we scrambled in the pits, got the roof, sail panels back on, and trucked over to I-96 and tagged the rear of the field and ended up winning the feature.
So not only what was the drive time between racetracks?
Oh, it was supposed to be about an hour and a half, but we made it in about an hour and 10. I had my dad ahead of me in his car, and we were just kind of cruising through traffic about 80, 85 in the truck and trailer all the way there. But, yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Brian, didn't we talk about we should have a two race gumball rally where you race and then everybody scrambles in and you line up in order you get to the next track?
Yeah, we discussed that, and we should still try to put that on, Webb. It could, and I think, what do we call it, the Mason-Dixon 100?
Yeah, where you would do a 50-lap race at a racetrack above the Mason-Dixon line, and then you would haul tail, and we would make you guys stop somewhere like a McDonald's, but then you get to the track, and so as you pull into the track, that's where you line up on the racetrack. What do you think, Brandon?
Sounds like fun to me.
And right around here, it's the perfect place to do it because, I suggested, I said, you know what we do is we have an asphalt race on the north side and then a dirt race on the south side, and we could do it at like Kilcare on the pavement and then leave there and go down to Florence on the dirt.
And we use Brandon as a proof that you can actually do that.
Yeah, that'd be a curveball there on pavement, though, but I'm sure it can be done.
It would also be a curveball dodging them state troopers.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandits, man.
Heck yeah.
That's all part of the strategy.
So, you guys just, I hate when you hear you guys are having pretty good amount of success on a national level, and I hate to hear anybody to have to scale back, but of course, you guys are always looking for sponsors, always looking for financial backing. I mean, is there going to be a day where you get to move and do some of do World Outlaws or Chase a Lucas if you wanted to?
Oh, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, the financial backing. I have a few good product sponsors here and there, FK, Rod Ends, Integra, All-Star Performance. But, I mean, the big deal is, getting a truck and trailer around. Right now, I've just got the single-car trailer, and in order to follow something like that, you definitely are in need of a stacker trailer. I guess you just drive with a different mentality, knowing you got another one up in the trailer, and just in case you screw something up, you got backup and not have to go all the way back to Traverse City.
That's right. Well, before we get you,
what
go ahead.
What about that, Webb? Hang on just a second while we got him on the line. Now I know I've went to some of the Lucas races, and the guys come out and they run the heat race and say, they break something off of the rear end. I mean, is it really fair to the rest of the guys there that if they can't fix that car that they started the race on, that they're allowed to bring that backup car out?
Yeah, I guess it's not really a fair deal. If you want to do something like that, you've got to, obviously be good enough to have backing like they do. And I mean, I guess it's just like a privilege to have that other car, and I mean, if you have the assets to do it, I guess more power to you.
Yeah, like I mean, I can understand hauling around 2 cars if you're going from, you're going to go on the Hell Tour and you're not going back to your shop. You know what I mean? You're going from one track to the next track to the next track, and you've got to be able to, have, something to switch things up with. And I get that. And if you wreck one night, you need that backup car. But if you're wrecking a heat race, it kind of hits me the wrong way when a guy pulls out a backup car, or if they don't like the way the one car is working out for them, they just switch out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hear you there. It'd be nice to definitely even the playing field for sure. Being able just if you had to stick to the one car.
Yeah.
Now
that's all. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's just I wonder how other people feel about it.
Now, I'm going to take liberty here and talk about something. I work for the Neesmith Series also, Brandon. And next year, we're going to have the 525 Super Series with also available a $135 spec shock. And I know Integra's your boy, so you don't have to say anything about the shocks, so don't worry about that. But the motor's going to be cheaper, and you're going to get some horsepower. You're going to get some throttle. The crates just doesn't have it quite there. Would that help out your program, having a cheaper motor like that?
Oh, I mean, it would definitely. I mean, if we had problems, for sure. But right now we've got 2 that are fresh. So this season, I mean, it'd definitely not be that big of an issue, but definitely somewhere down the line for sure.
Yeah, but being able to put the money somewhere else inside your program.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Yeah,
that'd be huge.
And I have to tell you, that Ronnie Johnson has got 50 races on his 525 right now. And all he's done is change spark plugs. Just saying, that was kind of my shameless plug for the series. I apologize. Well, Brandon, thank you very much for coming on the program. Real quick, thank all your sponsors and tell us where you're going to be at the next few weeks.
Oh, yeah. First of all, Thirlby Automotive, my father. I mean, without him, I wouldn't be doing any of this. And then, like I said before, Homestead Motorsports, Donnie Roberts, he's been huge. Integra Racing Shocks, All-Star Performance, and then big shout-out to FK Rod Ends, Maria. She's been huge this year, too.
I think you have to say "Go Niners" when you say her name, right?
yeah, she's a big fan.
Well, all right. Well, Brandon, we appreciate you coming on. And where will we find you racing over the next couple of weeks?
Oh, the next couple of weeks I'll be down at Winston Speedway at Muskegon, Michigan, and the following weekend I'll be over at Mount Pleasant and I-96 for their opening nights.
All right. Well, we're going to keep tabs on you when you guys park it in Victory Lane. We're going to get a hold of you, and you can tell us about it.
Sounds good, my man. Thanks for having me.
Brandon Thurbly. Thank you, sir.
Yep, thanks.
All right, we're going to come right back into this and not take any more breaks this evening. Bring back Mr. Kyle May. Bring back Mr. Brian Gray.
Woo.
I like old Brandon. He was seemed like a good dude.
Dude, he was well spoken too.
Yeah, he was. And and the thing is we talked earlier today about his program and about he had to kind of scale back what he had going on, and he was still optimistic about what he had going on, and that's kind of cool. Instead of being some people would just be like, oh, poor me,
Yeah, and that dude's no joke either, Webb. I've seen him down at the turkey race at Moeller. Was the first time we watched him come down, and that kid, he really freaking wheeled that car that night.
Well, all right. Well, I want to welcome to the program buddy of mine that I got to meet him up at the Indianapolis Industry Motorsports Show there in Indy, Mr. Alan Bradley. Sir, how are you?
Hey, guys. Doing good. How about yourself?
Another Monday following being at the racetrack. I mean, isn't that your Mondays that you're always getting back from somewhere?
Yeah, I'm still catching up from the Lucas races down in Mississippi and Texas, actually.
Which I cannot believe we didn't get to run into each other because I was there.
Yeah.
We both didn't realize it until after the fact, I guess.
It's a busy place. I'm definitely planning on hitting both those places again next year. Two good facilities, a lot of good people down there, and, man, you couldn't ask for two better races.
Well, before we get too far in the conversation, I must introduce you properly. Alan Bradley is an associate, affiliate with the Schaefer Oil, and you are the Eastern. What was your title?
Yes, I'm the Eastern Regional Manager for Schaefer's. I handle everything from, I guess, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, on up into New England.
So I mean, you pretty much everywhere. Now you are close, and this is just pictures that I've seen on Facebook. But you're close with the Eckert Group, ain't you?
Yeah, Rick and I got hooked up the day before he won the outlaw race at Delaware. A mutual friend introduced us. His previous product sponsor had backed out and didn't want to be involved anymore, and we jumped on board that night. And it was actually the first night out on our product in the car, and ended up winning the race. So that was a pretty good deal. And you know, you travel a lot. You know, we've got Schaefer as a company has over 600 reps nationwide, but I'd have a hard time naming you 10 or 12 of those reps that follow dirt racing. You know, you guys know it's either a sport, you either love it or you hate it. There's usually no in between.
No, it's on towards the end of the season. I find myself aggravated with the treks to the racetracks, like, you know, the getting there. But as soon as you smell the fuel burning and everything else, you're like, yeah, this is where I need to be.
Well, you know, we need to invite people. You know, we go in towns and we ask them where the racetrack is, and they've lived there their entire life and they don't know where it is. You know, or they say, yeah, I've always wondered what was happening there. You know, we got to get those people in the gates. And I have a very, very good friend of mine. He comes in down from Mississippi, and we go to races all up and down, you know, around the country. And he says the one thing he enjoys most about racing is a guy can pull in there and he's camping in a Prevost bus, and the guy next to him is in a tent. And but we're all the same when we're at the racetrack.
Yeah, Brian, we stepped on you. What were you saying, man?
Oh, I was saying the whole mentality change as soon as that fuel hits your nose.
Oh yeah, as soon as I get to the racetrack and I hear them and smell them,
know you're at the racetrack.
Yeah, it's just so. But Alan and we've been threatening to have you on for several weeks, and now that you're on with us, a couple of things I wanted to. You guys have a long-standing relationship with Red Farmer. Are you privy to that relationship? Are you part of it, or is it just? Tell us about that. What you know of that relationship with Schaefer and Red Farmer?
Yeah, that relationship goes back a long, long way. We have a sales rep by the name of David Mackey. Man, just a terrific guy. Him and Mr. Red have been close friends for years and years and years. And we were actually, Scott, at the two conventions ago, Bloomquist was supposed to come out and be our guest at the convention. And he had a cruise booked and couldn't make it, so they said, you know, who can we get to come out? So we invited Mr. Red, and then we invited Austin Hubbard out. Austin had just came out on had just won the Rookie of the Year in the World Outlaws. So we kind of did a new school, old school type of deal, and it was a huge hit. And man, I'm telling you, we could sit. I had a chance to go out and with Austin and Red and talk one-on-one, and just to hear some of the stories that he told from racing on the beaches at Daytona and you know, pulling motors out of your truck to get there. And I mean, it was just amazing how far we've come.
And also, Schaefer Oil is the title sponsor of the Ray Cook Southern Nationals. You guys are going to. I've seen you guys. I've seen Steve and you guys last year, I think, down there. At least I saw Steve anyway. Are you going to be involved in that?
Yeah, we are. That's a 3-year deal. We've had a long-time relationship with Ray and his team, and the previous sponsor decided to drop out again for various reasons. You know, a lot of people don't think they get the bang, or a lot of companies don't feel like they get the bang for their buck in dirt racing. You know, we're just the opposite. You know, we feel that is our market. You look on the side of the cars, you know, who's on the side of it? It's a trucking company. It's a logging company. It's farms. You know, that's the blue-collar racer. That's our guy. But Ray came to us, and we got together with corporate and hashed out a deal, and that's a 3-year deal. And where those tracks are racing locally, we encourage the local sales rep to show up, whether he's been to a race or has never been to one, Ray's basically will go around and, of course, he doesn't race in the series himself. He's busy promoting, but he'll introduce, potential customers to the sales rep. So I actually got down to Cleveland, Bulls Gap, and Tazewell last year. Those were the three I made, but I'll probably make at least those three and then try to catch a couple more this year.
10-4. And in the past couple of years, I've got the assignments for a few of the Southern National races, and I was at the East Alabama one with where we interviewed Ray and Steve. Steve, and I believe it's Brewer, right?
Steve, yes. Okay. Steve Brewer is our vice president of sales and marketing. Yes, sir.
And another interesting thing about that I find interesting, I hope my listeners do, is that Schaefer Oil is jumping into the video game a little bit.
Yeah, we're kind of an old company. It takes us a while to catch on. We're a privately held company. We've been in the same family, the sixth generation, since 1839. Our stock's actually been put into it. It's still owned by the family members, and it's been put into an irrevocable trust. The company can't be sold. We entertain 5 to 6 offers a year to be bought out by the majors, and that's not our philosophy. We want to remain independent. So, but in the marketing side of things, and face it, racing's not our number one business. There's some great racing products out there that's all they do, and I'm friends with most of them, and we've got some good relationships. Hey, face it, there's good products in the marketplace today. Before, racing oil was just kind of a thing. Now, it's gotten more specialized as far as formulations and stuff like that. But, we're just getting a handle on this, on the marketing side. And like I say, and one of the things we pointed out when, we did the IMA show out there, I never would have thought we would do a show like that. But, I asked the guys, I said, look, guys, our vice president's going to be there, a couple of the owners of the company. Swing by the booth and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about, how you got involved with Schaefer. So we had Bud McCool stop by, and of course Brad, Clint Smith's crew chief, Brad, stopped by and did an interview, and Rick Eckert stopped by, and I got back, and the owner of the company said, I had no idea that we had that kind of following in the dirt racing. So they're finally starting to get it, that the dirt racing guys, that is our clientele. Those are the guys that either own trucking companies, they own construction companies, or they are sponsored by them.
Well, and we're on this subject, and I want to point out this. There's guys like, and I'm going to use Brian as an example. Brian is like many of the drivers that are, I'd say, under 30. They're smart enough to be able to articulate and represent companies. Now, regardless of what fans say, fans are going to say whatever, and you look at Kyle Busch, man, he gets called everything under the sun, but he's one of the best drivers out there anyway. But it often boggles my mind why more companies aren't involved. Like if you look at the grandstands, it's Carhartt, it's Realtree. It's like, and you said the blue collar. It's blue collar, so you got guys who are working on heavy equipment, working on so the oil companies all should be involved. The cleaning powder companies, Tide, all these detergents, Mean Green, hand washing. I can't believe that. So you're telling me that your guys, your owners, are becoming more wise to the fact that it is a viable place to market.
Yeah, well, it comes like any sponsorship, and that's kind of hard to compare dirt racing with NASCAR. But sure, when Ricky Rudd ran Tide, you had housewives running to the grocery store, and that was the only detergent they would use. Well, they're not going to run out and buy a pile of logs from a cool log. There has to be certain things there. But yeah, and we as a group of I sit in on a lot of research and development meetings and company things and missions. And if we said one time, if we could nail down our mission statement in one sentence, it would say, hey, we sell oil and grease and hydraulic oil in 55-gallon drums to blue-collar workers, and that's our market. The construction industry, the power generation, power plants. That's that's the biggest portion of our business, and then the racing is just a small portion of it, but it feeds us into those other companies. And hey, we're certainly willing to help a racer out if he's going to help us introduce us to some of his sponsors, and it's a win-win for everybody. And Brian, through the years, I mean, racers, hey, everybody needs to get a deal. It's a very competitive sport. It's a very, very costly a sport, and guys have been given product for a long time, and it becomes expected. Well, as the economy turns, and those funds aren't available like they were before. So, but anytime you give something away, something away, it's perceived as not having any value. With our deals, they're structured so where Schaefer, pays a percentage, the racer pays a percentage, and the sales rep pays a percentage. So that way, we've all got a little bit of skin in the game.
Right. So you all have you all have a little bit of blood, invested in it. But
absolutely, and that builds
the marketing side of it. I've always been told that when business gets slow, that's the time you really push your marketing aspect. And I understand about giving product away and this and that, but at the same time, I think a lot of things that have happened in this, and this is just my opinion, a lot of people get on me for this, but I just feel that there's a lot of racers out there that either get product, they submit, proposals to these companies, and, say they get $4,000 or $5,000, and then the company doesn't get that $4,000 or $5,000 in return in sales. And a lot of times I think it's because either the team, the driver, whatever, they're there, they want to race, and it takes a lot of time to race, but you have to remember that you have an obligation to those sponsors to go out and do what you can to make sure that they get that return on investment. And that's where I think that our marketing program differs from so many other teams out there, because we're not just going to the racetrack every week and driving the car around and doing this and putting names on our driver suits or whatever. I mean, it's my job every day, if I take product from that company, that I do whatever I can to make sure that their product gets enough exposure in the marketplace that they're going to get that return on investment, so that the next year when it comes around, they feel like it is worth them putting money into my team.
I agree. 100%. I mean, you've nailed it. And here's a perfect example. Everyone wants to see a return on your investment. And a perfect example is when we did the deal with Ray Cook. Well, we had to sell Schaefer Corporate on that. Our owners, they don't follow dirt racing too much, but okay, here's what we're going to spend. We're going to track this thing. And as each fan came in to say we were at Tazewell, each fan come in, he got they filled out a little thing. We give them free earplugs, and so we were able to track that thing. And we thought if we got 1,000 hits off of our internet website, asking about our products, we would figure that'd be a success for the first year. We had over 12,000 hits on that 10-race deal over the period of probably 6 to 8 months. So that was a huge success for us.
And this is where the dirt racing, the community. This is where this is important. It's been a number of years ago, but I don't know if you remember when CNN did the whole documentary on dirt racing, and they had that statement that said that it was $1 billion a year industry. Now think about that number, $1 billion a year.
Well, hey, face it, guys are going to race. The electric bill is going to be late, or something's going to. But guys are going to find a way to get to the racetrack. I read the neatest quote this morning. I don't know where I saw it, but it said, "Racing is an addiction cured only by poverty." And there's a lot of truth in it. But it was encouraging. I have a very good friend of mine who was thinking about starting a team and following the Lucas Series, but he looked at the economy and the possibility of tracks closing, and he said, I'm going to sit back and wait a year and see what happens. But I tell you, when we got back from Miami and talking to Jay Dickens and talking to Jack Cornett and all the chassis manufacturers, Taylor Master, those guys, I tell you, I came out of that thing very positive. There was a lot of discussion about about new motors and new chassis, and I know local chassis builders here. Hey, it looks like business is good.
And the thing that corporate needs to realize is is that these are the folks. I mean, this is no more direct marketing than what it is. And part of my philosophy when I worked with Old Man's Garage was get out there and get that logo everywhere I can get it. Whether it costs me $5 or $500, you got to burn it in the retinas of people. They have to see it. And the way I tracked it now, I tracked it by number of hits we would get on YouTube, so to speak.
Sure.
Sure. But the proper way to do it is like you guys do. You got to be able to track it. It's got to be info you can use. And sounds like you guys have a great plan in place to track. Now, before we go, we got about 10 minutes left in the stream that we're given by.
I think while we got him on here, there's an important part that we got to get to, Webb.
That's what I think. I'm going. I think I'm going there.
Are you going? All right, go ahead.
Okay. When we talk about sponsorship and we talk about companies being affiliated with drivers, what is there a line of acceptable behavior that a driver must stay behind if Schaefer's involved in their program?
Well, I had a feeling this question was going to come up, and I know you guys are referring to Chad's statement. And of course there is. Hey, as a manager representing, the company that I represent, sure, we want drivers. Now, we don't want this guy just because he's winning races. We don't want to talk to him. Daggone, man! As many deals as I do with a Lucas Oil or a World Outlaw guys, I got 5 times that many guys. A little regional guy that's running around here that people around the country have never heard of. That's I'd rather work with that guy. I would much rather work with a guy who's spending the deal out of his pocket. He's got a few sponsors here. Hey, the big guys don't need anything. I mean, but there's getting to be fewer and fewer of those out there all the time.
Yeah.
But you got to know. Hey, you have to know Chad. I mean, Chad. He made that comment. Yeah, do I agree with it? Hell no, I don't agree with it. And I expressed my my opinion with him. But you got to know him. And hey, the first time I met him was out to Imus, and I don't even know who introduced. Oh, it was probably Bub introduced him to me.
Yeah, it was Bub.
And that's what he told me. That's exact 3 sentences that he said. The same exact thing. And I seen him down to Lucy. That's just like, hey, he's a dad. I mean, I know he doesn't encourage that with young kids, but he probably shouldn't have said it in the heat of the moment.
I think we're kind of that's kind of off the topic because see, I've been around Chad, and that's kind of like that's just Chad's character. I know that he doesn't do that stuff or whatever, but you get people that come in behind there and they take what is said. Either it's one thing to be doing it in front of people who can't turn away from it, and then it's another thing, to be doing it as a gag for a website for whatever. If you're just screwing around, so to speak, you got to be allowed to be loose a little bit. But when people go in and they take that and they twist it for something that it's not, how do you feel about that at that point?
Well, I can't control that. No more than when I sell, like I say, our racers have a vested interest in the product. They're not given anything. They have made a financial contribution to that sponsorship. It's like I can't, once I sell somebody something, I really can't control what they what they do with it. Can a guy call me up? Oh no, I can't sell you. I mean, that's just not the way it is. And I run across this all the time. Guys are trying to circumvent their dealer, or they got another deal with another competitor. And hey, I get along with just about everybody. Like I said, there's great racing products out there. Hey, I'm a big Jimmy Owens fan. He runs Redline. That's fine. Gibbs makes a great product. There's great products out there, and there's enough business out there for everybody. But you're right. There is I know a lot of grief on 4M and I certainly listened to both sides of it. There were some valid points there. I think some guys took it to a different level that it didn't really need to go. But hey, it's easy to sit there behind a keyboard and type a response. Hey, you guys know the best racers are the ones that are up in the stands.
Oh yeah.
Promoters. It's just one of those things. I know Chad regrets it. It's just, but hey, we're just going to move on, put it behind us.
That's right.
And, hey, probably the best deal came out of it is poor old Mike Myers. He kind of got, I don't even know the fella. I've talked to him on the phone. He kind of got caught up in the whole deal, and he ended up getting a sponsorship out of the deal. So I guess the whole thing wasn't a complete disaster.
That's cool because Mike was talking about needing to come up with oil or something the other day, and I'm glad that you guys approached him because he's a really cool cat.
Well,
yeah, he seemed to be.
And here's the thing too, and we're running out of time here real quick. But what I want to say is, we cannot sit here and comb through everything that everybody says, and because without the Chad Stapletons, we need guys. I'm not saying we need to. It has to be curse words and it has to be, making jokes about drug use or whatever. It don't have to be that. But as long as somebody's got enough passion to say anything, we should all applaud it. If anything, now
because there's too many of them that are restrained. They hold
back.
Yeah,
sanitized.
You're not even getting the real person. You don't even know what you're getting.
No, don't get me wrong. It's got to be. It's got to be tethered somewhere.
Come on, Webb.
And I'm with you. Hey, do I condone Chris Madden throwing his helmet the other night? No, I don't condone it. But hey, you don't know what happens. I mean, until you've been in that spot, I don't race. I've not been in that spot in the heat of the moment. Hey, racing is a very, very passionate sport. I mean, you work on that car all week long. You got all this money sunk into it, and then something happens. Things happen.
I don't know if throwing a helmet would be. I would probably try to throw rocks or something. I don't know. Helmets are expensive. Well, Alan, I appreciate. Go ahead.
And that was probably a poor example. That just one came to mind.
No,
he's a customer of ours, so I can say it.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, Chris is. I've seen the video. Who was it he threw the helmet at?
I haven't even seen it. Someone told me about it.
Oh no, it's on. It's wide open on the Lancaster highlights there from the Carolina Crown. Well, all right.
At some point, Webb, if you haven't thrown a helmet, you're going to throw a helmet at somebody, I'm sure.
If I'm racing and I have a helmet to throw, I'll be happy.
If you don't throw it at the person, you're throwing it at something.
Okay, well that's true.
Yeah, I try not to because they are expensive. I try to throw a steering wheel or possibly a part that's laying on the ground next to the race car, but I have been in that position before.
Hey Kyle, what about just throwing a tantrum instead?
Yeah, I just stand around, jump up and down, scream. People are looking at me funny.
Well, Alan, we're going to let you go. We got about 3 minutes before we get cut off here, so appreciate you coming on. When we get closer to the Southern Nationals, we'll certainly have you back on and try to get Ray on too. Maybe you guys can help us get Steve Brewer on, and we'll do a whole Schaefer Oil Southern Nationals evening.
Okay, it'd be great. It was fun, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Appreciate it, Alan.
Yep, see you at the track soon.
Yes, sir. Mr. Alan Bradley.
Bring those women with you.
No comment.
No. Well, all right. Hey, Brian, do we have a caller that's been waiting for a long time?
Yeah. You want to? Looks like we got Mr. Steve Tackett on the line.
All right. Go ahead, caller. You got about 1 minute.
Yeah, Steve Tackett, first-time caller. And I was calling to tell you all about the track over in Richmond, Kentucky. It's going to be open. Test and tune is April 28th of this year. So maybe get all the drivers and fans to come out. They put 100 loads of new clay on the track, and they put up a lot of new lighting and stuff around the track.
Now, is there a website that they have, Mr. Tackett?
It's www.richmond-raceway.net.
Now, has this
good to hear that there's more tracks opening up.
Has this track been closed for a while?
I didn't hear you.
I'm thinking for a minute, Webb, they were concerned about even reopening. Is that right, Mr. Tackett?
Yeah, the track. My brother and his wife are promoters, and they've had it open for the last 3 years. And It's in Richmond off of Concord Road, off of Urban Road.
Now, are we talking about Richmond, Kentucky?
Yeah, Richmond, Kentucky.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Taggart, thank you for calling, and I hope you are a weekly listener.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well, all right, guys, we're fixing to get. We've almost outrun our time here on Blog Talk, and we've had minimal damage done to us by Blog Talk Radio tonight.
Oh, I know. It's pretty good tonight.
I wonder if that's going out over there where she's saying 60 seconds. Could you hear it?
No.
Okay, we got 60 seconds left. So I'd like to thank all my guests. I'd like to thank Dustin Linville, Matt Dooley, Brandon Thurbly, and Alan Bradley. Try to get Mr. Kovac to come on a different evening with the World of Outlaws.
Mr. Rufus Thomas.
Mr. Rufus Thomas for bringing the diversity. Rufus brought the dirt world's attention around to diversity in our sport. I reminded him of Wendell Scott, but like he said, it was 40 years ago. But I don't think there's a promoter out there that would turn away anybody who is going to be paying to come through the gate.